If you ever felt like life hit you so hard that you didn't know whether to hold on, or let go, then listen closely. Because on one cold evening, a struggling single father, already broken, already at his limits, saw a young girl standing on a bridge railing, ready to jump. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her story. He didn't know that saving her would uncover the one truth that would shake his entire world. And by the time you learn who she really is, your heart won't be the same. Chapter 1. The Bridge Where Two Lives Collided. The rain had a strange way of reminding Daniel that life never took a break. Not for pain, not for exhaustion, not for the dreams he buried long ago. He was a 38-year-old single father trying to raise an 8-year-old boy named Ion after losing his wife 3 years earlier. Every day felt like a battle, late shifts as a delivery driver, unpaid bills piling up, his son asking when things would get better. And every night, Daniel would lie awake wondering if he was slowly failing at the only role that truly mattered, being a father. But he kept going, even when his back ached, even when the world seemed determined to break him. Because Ion was the only part of life he had left that still glowed. That night, Daniel was driving home after a 14-hour shift. His eyes stung with fatigue, and his mind raced with unpaid school fees, a broken refrigerator, and the fear of not being enough. Ion was waiting for him at home with dinner he had tried to cook by himself, another reminder that his son was growing up too fast because he had to. As Daniel drove past the old river bridge, he noticed something, just a shadow at first. But then his heart lurched. A girl stood on the railing. Rain pouring down her face. Clothes drenched. Arms trembling. She couldn't have been older than 17. He slammed the brakes so hard the tires shrieked. He jumped out, his chest thundering as he ran toward her. Hey, don't do this. He shouted over the roaring wind. The girl didn't turn, didn't flinch. She stood perfectly still, staring at the violent river below as if she had made peace with the darkness waiting for her. Please, Daniel said, his voice breaking. Just talk to me. Her shoulders shook. A quiet, fragile sob escaped her lips. You don't know what I've lost, she whispered. Daniel swallowed hard. And you don't know what I've lost either. But I'm still here, fighting, for someone who needs me. Lightning cracked above them, illuminating her face, young, scared, and carrying a pain far too heavy for her age. I have no one, she murmured. Daniel stepped closer. One wrong move, and she would fall. You're wrong, he said softly. You have me. Right here, right now. He extended his hand, not forcing, just offering. Let me help you, please. Her lips trembled. Tears mixed with raindrops. Then suddenly, her foot slipped. Daniel lunged with everything he had, grabbing her arm just as she began to fall. She screamed, air slicing between them as he pulled with every ounce of strength left in his tired, desperate body. Don't jump, he cried. Please don't jump. His knees burned on the wet concrete. His breath shook. But he kept holding her, because he knew what it felt like to lose someone forever. Finally, he pulled her back onto the bridge, both collapsing in a heap of rain and exhaustion. She clung to him, sobbing into his chest like a child begging God for mercy. Thank you, she wept. Thank you for not letting me go. Daniel held her tight, not knowing that saving her tonight would unravel secrets he never imagined existed, and that this girl, this fragile stranger, was about to change his life in a way he could never prepare for. Chapter 2. The Girl with the Mirror of His Past. Daniel wrapped his jacket around her shivering shoulders and guided her into his car, turning on the heater. She sat silently, hugging herself, trembling not just from the cold but from something deeper, fear, guilt, wounds no one had bothered to see. What's your name? Daniel asked gently. She hesitated before whispering, Maya. A simple name, but the way she said it carried years of hidden sorrow. Where do you live, Maya? I can take you home. Her eyes flicked up sharply. No, I can't go back there. Daniel could hear the terror behind her voice. He didn't push. He just nodded. Then we'll go somewhere safe. I have a son, he's kind. I think you'll like him. Maya's expression softened, not in comfort, but shock. You're a father. Daniel forced a tiny smile. Trying my best. She stared out the window, watching raindrops race each other. You saved me, she said quietly. Why? You don't even know me. Daniel exhaled slowly. Because someone once saved me when I felt like my world had ended. And because, no one deserves to feel alone. Silence filled the car, heavy, emotional, almost sacred. When they arrived home, Ion ran to the door, excited to see his father. But he stopped when he noticed the drenched girl beside him. "Papa, who is she?" Daniel knelt. "Someone who needs a warm meal tonight." Ion nodded without another question and ran to get towels. There was a maturity in him that Daniel both admired and feared, a child who had seen too much too early. As they ate dinner, Daniel noticed Maya watching the two of them with an unreadable expression, something between longing and heartbreak. "Do you have family?" Ion asked innocently. Maya froze. Her spoon clattered to the plate. Daniel shot Ion a gentle look, and the boy lowered his head, mumbling an apology. Later, Daniel gave Maya fresh clothes and blankets. She hesitated before taking them. "You're being too kind," she whispered. "I don't deserve it." Daniel frowned softly. Everyone deserves kindness. When she finally fell asleep on the sofa, Daniel covered her with a blanket and watched her for a moment. She looked so peaceful, yet earlier, she was ready to throw her life away. What kind of pain lived inside someone so young? Daniel sat down, rubbing his face tiredly. A part of him worried about the responsibilities piling even higher now. But another part, the part that remembered how it felt to lose hope, told him he did the right thing. He just didn't know that fate was stitching their stories together for a reason. Because the next morning, as sunlight crept into the living room, Maya woke up whispering a name in her sleep, a name that made Daniel's heart stop. She murmured, "Mom," but she didn't say it the way a child calls for their mother. She said it like someone calling out to a ghost. Daniel froze. That name, that same whisper, that same tone, it was identical to how his late wife used to say her mother's name in her nightmares. He stepped closer. "Maya, what was your mother's name?" She opened her eyes slowly, fear returning instantly. And when she spoke, Daniel felt the ground beneath him disappear. "My mother's name was Alina Khan," she said. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. Alina Khan, his wife's name, his lost love, the woman he buried. His heart pounded in his chest as he stared at the girl he had just saved, the girl who almost died on a bridge. And suddenly, everything made sense. The resemblance, the pain in her eyes, the familiar features he ignored in the chaos. Maya looked up, trembling. Why are you looking at me like that?" Daniel swallowed hard. Because the truth he had just realized was too enormous to speak.